I came to Providence, a place I'd never been, for David Cicilline, because I believe in courage and I believe in integrity and I believe in passion. And when I see it, I'm willing to work for it. And Bill Bratton was my mentor, and I'm sure you know I was his counsel in New York. And there's not a week that goes by that we don't talk. But a police chief is only as good as a mayor lets him be. And this mayor lets this police department be good. So for the press who are here, my son and I went fishing this summer, and it was that big. Right? There's your story. You said tell stories. I also want to say that I'm here in the company of my colleagues, and I want to identify Major Stephen Campbell and Major Tom Oates and Major Monty Montero. And the good news is it ain't a raid, right? We are here as guests because Saul and Mike allowed us to be, because we wanted to be in this type of environment, because we think it's good for us. So thank you. Thank you. All right. I'm going to tell you stories. All right, here you go. When the mayor says some people had lost confidence in the police department, where there were great people, what he could have added and what he knows is that many of the men and women of the department lost confidence themselves in their own agency. That the hope and the dream they came with just didn't come true for them. They now have leaders who they believe in. Because in our business, you don't follow the rank on the uniform, you follow who's in it. Because in the old days, you purchased that rank. 5,000, 3,500, you purchased that rank. Now they have leaders they believe in. So let me start with a story. I have 3 children. They're my life, and my oldest just graduated college, which is amazing, and has a job, which is even more amazing, and is living at, starting his life and living in New York City, and has an apartment, sharing it with a couple of friends for the rent. And I assume he will start his life like I did. You get going, you figure it out. I worked as a janitor in my building to pay the rent while I was in law school, and still shared it with 3 people. And I would imagine, like me, one day he'll come home and he will be broken into. And the few measly possessions in his life, like his bicycle and, God forbid, his CD, will be gone. And here's the question. What do you think, who do you think the first call is going to be to, that my son will make? Comes home and he has been burglarized. Who do you think the first call is going to be to? Me or mom, right? And that's it in a nutshell. How is it possible that the son of an American police chief doesn't know that the first call is supposed to be to 911? Because that's what American policing has been teaching for 2 generations. You call 911, we're mother. Your job is to call, our job is to come. And if the son of an American police chief wouldn't even have that instinct, then it makes you think hard. That maybe policing needs some innovation, all right? That maybe what our teachers passed on to us and those before them, with good faith and good meaning, they just got it wrong. I gave you a little present out there in your chairs. You see that we are the 2nd largest police department in all the 6 states of New England. But as I tell my colleague in Boston, we're the 1st best. We're the 2nd oldest police department in the whole United States of America. We're a big city police department. But we were a very traditional police department. And police departments for 2 generations now have been built on the concept of 911. You call, we come. The dirty little secret about 911 is it doesn't work. And more often than not, for many people, it's the second call you make, not the first. Because you call who you know. Because crime is intimate, personal, it's frightening, even if you don't know the person who did it. But so frequently, crime is between people who do know one another. But you call who you know. And the consequence of 911 is you don't know the police anymore. That's why you got to get our badge number or read our name off our nameplate, because we have become strangers in your midst. We're just not part of the community anymore. We have moved ourselves off the beat into the police car. We have lived in the postmodern world and eaten everything that has been given to us, which is technology, and moved from radios to telephones, and radios in our cars, and now radios on our hips, and phones in our cars to phones in our hips, and computers from our office to computers in our cars. And we're not the police anymore. We're clerks in cars. You call us to take a report, and we're good. We come lights and sirens, we get there and we take a report. And most crime doesn't get handled that way. So what is the reality? The reality is this is complicated stuff, right? First, the overwhelming majority of all crime just never gets reported. Even the FBI tells you that now. It just doesn't get reported. It doesn't get reported because it's personal and intimate. It's between people who know each other. It's a fight in a bar. It's family. It's not worth it. No insurance for it. Can't be bothered. Or because after you make that first phone call to your dad or mom, even me as a police chief doesn't say, okay, good, hang up the phone and call 911 now, right now. I want you to report it so they're accurate crime statistics. I just want, are you okay? I'll take care of it. The way you really know it's not true is if you ever talk to one of America's 500,000 cops. There are 500,000 of us. In 17,000 police departments in America, we're very different than you. We spend our life in one agency, one silo. 17,000 police departments, we hardly talk to each other. The one you go into is your life job forever. Some change police departments, very rare. But you ask any one of those cops, any one of the 17,000 police departments, if a family member, if your child gets in trouble, would you call the police? Never. Keep it away. I'll handle it here. So we have built a profession, and now we have built a tradition on the concept that the public should report and we should come. We take a report and we will solve and catch a crook. What's the reality? The reality is that almost nothing gets reported. And that doesn't mean that it's the killing fields and there are hidden bodies across America. Most of those do get reported. Most crime isn't violent, and most crime doesn't get reported. The second is that almost everything that gets reported, we hardly solve anything. And we're good. Major Campbell's the chief of detectives. There's no better. We're good. We hunt you down. Whatever the records are and the statistics of crime solving, we're better than everybody. Better in homicides, robbery, we're better than everybody. We're good. You hardly solve anything. It's just hard to solve stuff. You know, my kids, CSI, it's killing me. Okay? You don't solve a lot. So we just take reports. When we do solve it, lo and behold, we caught the person before. They didn't parachute from Mars. This is not Cary Grant and It Takes a Thief. Been a cat burglar his whole life and finally got caught in Monaco. We just catch the same people over and over again. People spend, in many ways, they spend their life in and out of jail. They're spending their life in jail on the installment plan. For every 100 crimes, it's not 100 individuals who committed it. And then when you catch this person, lo and behold, you caught them before. And that just jams you right into your paradigm. And you go, well, wait a minute. I thought crime is anonymous. Turns out often it's someone they know. I thought most crime gets reported. It doesn't. I thought when I do catch the crook, there's a sense of relief and justice, and someone had just caught him last month. And I thought I'm going to punish him, and that's the great oxymoron of American criminal justice, the Department of Corrections. No one gets corrected, right? The fundamental concept of punishment in a free society is not the transportation system of the 1700s where we colonized the fatal shore of Australia. The British tried that. Or when the French created penal colonies off the islands of Africa. The fundamental concept of punishment in a free society is not banishment from the tribe. So everyone who goes comes back. There are the anecdotes of those who spend their life in prison. They're few and far between. And pretty much everyone who comes back goes back to prison. Nobody really gets corrected. You should ask the governor tomorrow that he presides over a budget where the Department of Corrections has a larger budget than the Department of Education. And by the way, it's a much more effective institution, a much more loyal alumni organization. They teach one subject, they constantly come back, and so does the governor of California. State budgets are now larger for Department of Corrections than they are for Department of Education. And we are generating what we are incarcerating so many of our citizens. So it's in this set of realities that you say, how do you innovate? What's my job? As I have been told I got to finish up, I will tell you, I will now try to answer your question because I wrote this great note for myself. It's about innovation, stupid, right? That's why I'm here. So there are a couple things. One, in city government, this is a game about power. Sophocles wrote about it in Antigone. You know, I think Thucydides wrote about it as the Chronicle of the Peloponnesian War. He had a great line, which I've always remembered: power reveals the man. So when you get this power, as a mayor or as a policeman, this enormous power, the question is what you do with it, because it will reveal who you are. Sometimes it doesn't reveal a very pretty person. City government in the past was about power of an individual. The greatest gift the mayor gave us is he gave the police department back to the people. It had been a king's army for a generation, as had the Parks Department and the Tax Department. Power was used to hold it. The mayor gave it away. That reveals who he is. It's rare. The second is that, what did we do? We took a centralized model that was about command and control. The culture of a police department is obedience. The culture of a police department is compliance. When I walk in, you damn well better stand up and salute me. And your butt better pucker. When I walk in, if I listen to the 500, 650 people who work for me, I am tall and handsome, full head of hair, right? It is about obedience and compliance. When a major walks in to an office, they're hiding under their goddamn desk. They're running away if coffee's being spilled on them. I mean, it's about power, obedience, compliance. That's the culture. It's very centralized, and we tell citizens, you call us, we come. And there's only one number to call. It got so bad in New York City, before Bill Bratton was there, that a police officer was given an order in the late 1970s, in writing, and there were a lot more of us, 40,000 of us in New York. You may not initiate a conversation with a citizen, only if a citizen talks to you first, because it was all fear of corruption. What we have done in our police department is give the power away. And we have decentralized the department into the neighborhoods, and we have let go. And we have allowed relationships to be built again. So that the least important person in a citizen's life is the police chief. And the most important is the cop on the beat, and is the local neighborhood commander. We have neighborhood stations that have been opened up that have been donated from Brown to PC, from real estate companies. We don't pay rent. We don't pay phone bills. We don't pay utilities. We don't pay anything, and they want to give us more. We're opened all over the city. We have neighborhood commanders now who are on duty 24 hours a day. They all have a cell phone. They're not allowed to turn it off. Not even off duty, not even on vacation. I don't care how hard they work. It means nothing to me. They are on duty 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They're in command. They have the privilege of command, which I can take away. And their officers are the team in the neighborhood. And for the first time, they're beginning to get to know each other. And lo and behold, they are dealing with the realities that now are not just chatter in a 15-minute innovation storytelling. They are dealing with the lives of families, with kids who are being constantly in and out of jail, older brothers and sisters who are coming back from jail, dealing with jobs, dealing with unemployment, dealing with life. And they are engaged and enmeshed in it. And for the first time, we have become part of the community again, instead of apart from it. And my son, one day, I hope, if God forbid he's ever burglarized, will call me and go, Dad, I already called the cop because I know him, and I called Johnny. I got him on his cell phone, or I left a message at his station. I just want to let you know this happened to me. I already called my cop. And one day, if the son of an American police chief ever does that, then American policing will finally begin to have changed. And we will pass on a more thoughtful police culture and a more thoughtful police profession than was passed to us. Passed with good meaning, passed well meaning. It is, but we just got it wrong. And now we are in the midst, and that's what the community policing revolution is. It is a revolution. It happens different places at different times. I was hired by the mayor in New Haven in the early 90s. I went back down 95 in the late 90s to do it for the mayor in Stamford. And now in the 2003, I'm hired to come further up 95 to do it for the mayor in Providence. It's not America. It's a republic, and it's happening in different places at different times. It's a community-based revolution, but it's happening, and it's beginning. And I'll close by saying my father was a doctor. I loved him better, more than you can imagine, right? He was a better man than me. And he was an old neighborhood doctor, old GP in New York. You know, we lived in the apartment I was born in our whole life. He died in that, took care of the whole neighborhood, and all our neighbors were his patients. And everyone was in our house all the time. As kids, we all had to learn how to take the phone messages with a notepad. Yes, Dr. Esserman will get back to you. What's your number, please? Can I read it back to you? I mean, my sister, it's how we learned growing up. And if someone said to any neighbor or family, who's your doctor, right? That's a pretty standard question. Who's your family doctor? And I would imagine if someone said to you, who's your neighborhood pastor or rabbi, you and me, or family pastor, someone, that's an easy question. If someone said to you, who's your family cop? You wouldn't know what they're talking about. I hope, before I finish, I will have done that for my father. And that when someone says, who's your neighborhood cop or who's your family cop, that's not anonymous anymore. And that's not 911 anymore. That's a person who you know who's part of your community. And that is where we're going. That's the mayor's marching orders to me. It was an interview that was real clear. I've studied community policing. I understand that this is what I want. Can you deliver? This police department is beginning to deliver on the mayor's promise. It makes us proud. Thank you.